Welcome back to Defense News Weekly. I'm Daniel Woolfolk, and this is Defense Dollars. The U.S. Army is moving on its plan to backfill some 1,400 Stinger missiles that it sent as immediate support to Ukraine to defend itself against the Russian invasion. The U.S. Army awarded a $624.6 million contract to Raytheon Technologies, and the Pentagon said Raytheon will build some 1,300 missiles with a completion date of June 30th, 2026. Raytheon Technologies says the contract includes engineering support and test equipment. Stinger and Javelin have both been in high demand in Ukraine. The Pentagon sent more than 5,500 Javelin anti-tank missiles since Russia invaded Ukraine on February 24. In May, Congress passed a $40 billion spending package for Ukraine that authorized the Biden administration to send another $11 billion worth of U.S. military equipment to the country. The Brazilian army wants a new reconnaissance vehicle and has written up requirements for it. They want up to 221 eight-wheeled vehicles with either a 105mm or 120mm gun. That's according to a document sent to Defense News. The program is meant to replace part of the Army's fleet of EE-9 Cascavel six-wheel drive armored reconnaissance vehicles, which have 90mm guns. The price tag on the efforts are still unclear. Poland is accelerating the number of acquisitions amid Russia's invasion of its neighbor Ukraine. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry announced it has signed a letter of request to buy about 500 M142 high-mobility artillery rocket systems from the United States. Those are more commonly known as HIMARS. The Polish Ministry of National Defense said the first HIMARS contract was worth about $414 million. Deliveries under this deal are scheduled to be completed by 2023, and Lockheed Martin makes those launchers. That comes days after the ministry announced it had filed a letter of request to purchase 6 additional Patriot batteries from the United States, and those are made by Raytheon. The National Reconnaissance Office is expanding its use of commercial space services. The NRO is a Pentagon agency that designs, launches, and operates satellites for the United States government that observe the Earth. The spy agency used its electro-optical commercial layer program to issue 10-year contracts to satellite imagery companies BlackSky, Maxar Technologies, and Planet Labs. The NRO didn't release numbers for the contracts, but BlackSky said in a statement its deal is worth as much as $1 billion over a decade. Maxar said its contract is valued at more than $3 billion, and Planet Labs didn't release the contract total. Commercial satellite imagery is seeing increased demand, supplementing commercially owned space sensing capabilities and recently providing key insights into Russian troop movements in Ukraine. The Biden administration says that it will send Ukraine a small number of high-tech, medium-range rocket systems, a critical weapon that Ukrainian leaders have been asking for as they struggle to stall Russian progress in the Donbass region. The multiple launch rocket systems are part of a new $700 million tranche of security assistance for Ukraine from the United States. That will include helicopters, Javelin anti-tank weapon systems, tactical vehicles, spare parts, and more. That's according to 2 senior administration officials. The U.S. decision to provide the advanced rocket system tries to strike a balance between the desire to help Ukraine battle ferocious Russian artillery barrages while not providing arms that could allow Ukraine to hit targets deep inside Russia and trigger an escalation in the war. What has been used so far for this? Well, among other things, a prized Soviet rocket launcher. It's what soldiers from the 93rd Brigade stationed near the city of Izium are using to defend against Russian advances in the Donbass region. According to British broadcaster Sky News, the Soviet-era multiple rocket launchers that was built in the 1960s can fire 40 102 20mm missiles at a target 20 kilometers away in less than 20 seconds. That's 12.5 miles. They can cause huge destruction over a wide area, and both sides have been criticized by human rights groups for the use of similar weapons. Also, one soldier among those near Izium showed Sky News a next-generation light anti-tank weapon he said came from Britain. The NLAWs are able to destroy tanks in a single shot, but only at a short distance. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has consistently demanded more weapons from foreign countries, including longer-range weapons, to support their efforts against Russia. Getting a full picture of the unfolding battle in the east has been difficult because airstrikes and artillery barrages have made it extremely dangerous for reporters to move around. Both Ukraine and the Moscow-backed rebels fighting in the east have also introduced tight restrictions on reporting from the combat zone. And that's it for Defense Dollars. When we return, personal finance expert Jeanette Mack gives you tips to protect your identity online.